Season 20 starts March 13th, and this particular season is very strong for the Necro because it allows the Necro to basically cube 3 weapons, which is really, really powerful. So a lot of you guys have been asking for a Necromancer starter guide, and today we got you covered. Without further ado, let's get into it. So guys, just like we always say, save your challenge rift the week of the season start. So come the week of March 9th, don't touch that challenge rift until the season begins. And more importantly, make sure you create your seasonal character first. And then while you're on that character, then you go into the game settings, then you go to challenge rift, save and close, start it up, do whatever ZDPS build that Blizzard's got in store for you that week. Complete it, start up adventure mode, and then bing, bang, boom, you got a challenge rift cache waiting for you in the bottom left. Open the cache, pick up all the things, you get 475 blood shards, and just enough DBs to craft a level 70 two-hand scythe, and that's the play. On a fresh seasonal character, you will actually have to go get the cube, so make sure you go to Ruins of Sescheron, go through the steps, find the cube, go back to town, and do the following. So immediately you're going to come over to the blacksmith. You're going to train him up because you're going to have enough gold and enough DBs to train him up. And you go immediately to the two-hand scythe recipe. You're going to craft one two-hand sovereign scythe level 70. You're going to walk over to the cube, use recipe 3, which is upgrade a rare item, throw that level 70 two-hand scythe in there, and click transmute. Now, the fate of your Diablo 3 Season 20 lies within the next few seconds. Transmute, boom. Maltorius' Petrified Spike. In case it went too fast, there is a 100% chance when you upgrade a two-hand scythe, you're going to get something that's going to be useful for yourself leveling up. You're going to get a Blood-type Blade, or a Maltorius' Petrified Spike, or a Nair's Black Death, or a Relina Shadow Hook. Now, if you're asking me, the worst one you can get is Maltorius' Petrified Spike, which we just got. RIP season. But I say that jokingly because it is a very strong damage modifier while you're leveling. Nair's Black Death and the Relina Shadow Hook are very, very good while leveling. Blood-type Blade is also no slouch, especially if you can get your hands on an Iron Rose. Now, immediately following, you're probably going to want to cube that scythe right away. Now, the only thing I will say is if you get an Ancient, make sure you just look at the secondary real quick. If that secondary happened to roll reduced level requirement, you're probably going to want to hang on to that because you can get up to 40 level reduction. So at level 30, you could wear an Ancient two-hand weapon and just melt the rest of the way. Plus, you'd have an Ancient ready to go once you hit 70 that's already level 70. So just take a quick glance at that. The secondary, make sure it's not level reduction. And of course, if you're like the 99.9 of us that are not going to get crazy lucky, you're just going to throw that in the cube, recipe 1, transmute, and then boom, you're going to have that weapon ready to go right out of the gate. So make sure you select it once you've cubed it right away. I've seen people cube a weapon at the start of the season and then forget to actually equip it in the cube. So just a friendly reminder there. Now, depending on which two-hand scythe you have ready to go, it's going to dictate what your next step is. If you're grouping this season, and rat runs are going to be insanely strong yet again this season because Necro is going to be OP, I'm probably going to just say, doesn't matter what you get, just go for the mage ring, the Circle of Naluge Evil, because your objective is going to get into rats as fast as you possibly can. So don't even waste a single blood shard on anything but that until you get it. If you're not leveling a group or you're solo player, I would roll the blood shards in the following. If you get a Maltorius' Petrified Spike, a Blood-type Blade, or Nair's Black Death, I'm probably just going to recommend that you go for the glove, the Grasp of Essence. So not only will you have a damage multiplier for Corpse Explosion, but you'll also have a damage multiplier on the, whatever skill you happen to get. If you get a Shadow Hook, I'm still probably going to recommend you immediately try to roll the ring, try to get the Circle of Naluge Evil. But whatever route you pick, Circle of Naluge Evil is a solid choice at the end of the day because leveling with mages is really, really strong. But if you're spending your essence on, Bone Spear or Blood Nova, it might not be the best choice while leveling. Now, when you get max level, you'll probably make another level 1 Necro just to get this ring. So I'll leave that up to you guys. The other thing I'm going to recommend you do is actually craft either a two-hand axe, level 70, or a two-hand mace. The two-hand mace is probably the better choice because it has a higher average damage roll. But if you need the attack speed for whatever you're running, go with the axe. Now, say you craft the Sovereign Persuader. One of a few things could happen. So a worst-case scenario, you're going to get a weapon like this, where the secondaries are not a CC effect. Medium-case scenario, you get something like this, where you get chance to freeze on hit, a CC effect on the secondary. And why that's important is when you come over the Mystic, and again, you can fully upgrade the Mystic at this point because you have just enough currency to do that. You can see if you don't roll off the CC chance, in this case, the freeze on hit, there's a 1 in 4 chance you could get level requirement reduced by 2 to 30. This means assuming you hit that 30 roll, at level 40, you're going to be wearing a level 70 two-hand weapon and doing a ton of damage and basically just blowing past the final levels. And why I like to do this first is because it gives me an idea in my head of like that goal I'm trying to hit. So say I only hit a weapon with like level 25 reduction requirement. I know I'm just going to try to speed my way to 55 as fast as I can. As soon as I hit 55, I'm done, right? Like just put this weapon on, profit. And of course you get super lucky and just hit level requirement without having to re-roll anything, and then in that case, good for you. But throw this weapon in your stash. Do not accidentally salvage it. Now, the reason I really wanted to do this particular starter guide is because it's so different than ones we've done in the past because of how the cube works, right? So the cube, this particular season, lets you put anything in any slot. So you can have 3 weapons, 3 pieces of jewelry, whatever. Why that's relevant, as of last season, you get a guaranteed Legacy of Dreams on your second greater rift that you complete. The first one, you're gonna get a Band of the Powerful, which is arguably the best, one of the best gems to have early season. Whether or not you finish your season journey on your Necro, maybe you want to save it for another character, whatever, that's kind of up to you. Now, I will say, so Trag'Oul will perform a little bit better than it has in the past because again, you get to wear 3 weapons in the cube. So something like Blood Mage gets stronger because you can have, Jetha set on, you can have Shadow Hook in the cube, you can have Scythe of the Cycle in the cube, you can even have a Furnace in the cube. So it's no slouch at the start of a season. But say, you're just going to run a Necro for rat runs, or you're not planning on maining a Necro, you might want to save that seasonal journey for a different class. It's up to you. And the reason I bring it up is because while you level, make sure you keep every legendary you find. Like normally you'd be like, oh, I got, a Leoric Signet. What a shit item. Let me just trash this real quick and get the Forgotten Soul. If you don't have any other legendary ring, keep it. Get a legendary in every slot. That's your goal, because again, you get Legacy of Dreams and your second GR. Really just rush to get a legendary in every slot. And again, at a mere level 38, Legacy of Dreams has a higher damage modifier than Trag'Oul. And if you have an Ancient, forget about it. Of course, we'll put, a Blood Mage starter guide in the description below. But what you're basically trying to do is rush LOD Singularity Speed. And of course, that guide will be in the description below as well. That is going to be hands down the best build for speed farming content in season 20. Mages are actually going to be insane, and Singularity Speed was already crazy fast, but this particular season, because of how the cube works, it's just going to be nutty, and rat runs are going to be insane. So our goal is just going to be to fill out this gear as fast as we can. But say you hit a fresh level 70, you do a couple GRs, you got your Legacy of Dreams in one of your jewelry sockets. What's the first play? Well, number one, depending on what two-hand scythe you got, I'd probably recommend upgrading more two-hand scythes. Because two-hand scythes, again, you have a 100% chance to get something useful. And because of how this seasonal theme works, you can cube them right away, and you have all those damage modifiers going. It's going to be really, really helpful for getting in the higher torment faster to get more legendaries faster. But say you already got your hands on like a Nair's Black Death and a Shadow Hook, and Blood-type Blade and Petrified Spike aren't super important legendaries to chase if you're going for mages right away. Second up, I'd probably try to rush getting a Scythe of the Cycle as fast as you can. It's going to be really good for the mage build. If you're going the Trag'Oul route, you can get a Jessuth Skull Scythe, and you're going to want to wear Jessuth if you're running the Blood Mage setup. So you're going to use your upgrades and your DBs on trying to get, the weapons. Make sure you get Scythe of the Cycle, Shadow Hook, use your Blood Shards. I'd probably focus on Tasker and Theo as your number one thing to try to get first. And you'll notice in the description below, because I can't change Diablo fans' website, you'll see what we recommend for season 20. Legendaries to look out for, Messerschmitt's Reaver is going to be actually really, really good at the start of a season. It's going to give you that flat cooldown reduction on every kill. So while you're trying to work your way up to getting high CDR, which you definitely want to do, it's going to kind of bridge that gap until you get the cooldown reduction you need. So cube that bad boy as soon as you get it. Obviously, Requiem Seraplate would probably be priority 2 after Tasker and Theo. Getting your essence back doubly fast is really, really important. Getting your Reaper's Wrath crafted right away would be super helpful. After that, Leorics, if you don't already have it, you probably got one more leveling because it's a pretty common leveling legendary. But I would rush that next. And Stewart's Grease, it's going to increase your speed. So I'd probably rush something like that next. And everything else you probably have to focus farm just a little bit harder, but eventually get them. And again, nothing really left besides the Haunted Visions necklace, is going to carry your character that hard. It's just going to be, again, trying to get that Crispin sentence. There's nothing you can do to focus farm a Crispin sentence. You know, there's been seasons where I haven't gotten one until 600 Paragon. There's been seasons where I've gotten one in the first 100 Paragon. It's really just a waiting game, RNG. But that's obviously a super important item to get. Also, look out for an Ingiam. It's going to be really, really strong this season. For both the builds, we're going to recommend for speed. And when I say both builds, guys, once you've played Lawn Mages into the ground, which you will this season, you're going to run rat runs. Singularity Speed will be the best Torment farming build, period, for the Necromancer. And it's going to be pretty hard to beat for, you know, solo GR speed farming. But if you're looking for something a little more tanky, in my opinion, a lot more fun, and almost just as powerful, like it's just there, Blightmancer, guys. Blightmancer. And we'll leave this guide in the video description below. And again, this particular season for the Blightmancer will be the only time that the Blightmancer will be this strong because of how the cube works for Season 20. So if you like the Blightmancer a lot, play Season 20 because it's never going to be this strong again. It's a Corpse Explosion build, which you're like, what? Corpse Explosion? Are you kidding? It was already speed farming, you know, GR 100s with some pretty decent gear and augments. And we played PTR, and this build out of the box was just doing speed farming 90s with zero problems. You're going to have to get that cooldown requirement first. I will say that. But it's a ton of fun to play. You're just flying through the map using Corpse Explosion. And it just feels good. It feels damn good. And it's never going to be the strong again. So this is the build I would recommend playing when you get tired of mages, because you definitely will. But honestly, easy as that. There's not much more to it. Rush Singularity Mage. You won't regret it. It's going to be crazy strong this season. This season is kind of the season of Necro, even though Necro got no changes. Like, rat runs are going to be back in full effect. They're going to be stronger than ever. Lot Mages will probably be the top push build, or at least the most accessible top push build for a lot of players. You know, as soon as we saw the patch notes, we came out with this Diablo fans guide on the top push build for 268. Probably. It'd be interesting to see if this holds true. But I'll link that in the video description as well if you guys want to see that. But again, if you guys are looking for something a little bit more off meta, Poison Scythe. LOD Poison Scythe is going to get even stronger again because of the way the cube works. And this is the tankiest build you will ever play on the Necro. And make sure in the details of all of these Diablo fans guides, we tell you exactly what to do in Season 20, because we can't actually change the cube on Diablo fans. But yeah, with this build, you just walk around, gather up a bunch of trash, and just start swiping away. Things get wrecked if you have high area damage. And due to, you know, Stone Gauntlets and the interaction of Ice Climbers, this build is insanely tanky. You know, it's doing 110, 115 before with some decent gear. No reason this thing couldn't go over 120 with how the new cube works. But hopefully that helps you guys figure out exactly what you're doing at the start of Season 20. Again, that begins March 13th, which unfortunately shares the date with Path of Exile. And although I'm still undecided on what I'm going to be playing at the start of the season, one thing's for sure. Season 21, when the Necromancer gets new stuff, actually new stuff, boys, we'll be all over it. So make sure you follow the channel, because any new Necromancer builds that come out of that, I'm your boy. But regardless of what we play on March 13th, you guys are free to come into the Twitch stream and ask your questions. We are never too busy to answer a question. But that's pretty much going to do it for the video, guys. As always, like, subscribe, come over to Twitch, ask your questions. We love you guys. Peace out.